In this video, I'll walk you through 10 practical steps that can help you on your off-grid journey. If you clicked on this video, most likely you feel like big changes are needed after the recent election results where it declared Donald Trump the new president of the United States of America. This may not have anything to do with politics at all. Maybe you just want a lifestyle where you feel more secure and you have more control over your own life and freedoms. I can guess right now that you're feeling like you don't like the direction that the country is going in, and maybe going off grid was one of the things that you had in your back pocket. So here are some things that can help you. Step 1, defining your why. The first thing is you must define your why. Off-grid living isn't about escaping politics. It's about creation. It's about creating a life that aligns with who you are and what your goals are for your future and your legacy. It can be peace of mind, but it also can be sustainability. It can be because you want to grow your own food. Write down the reasons. You're going to have to get a journal for this process. And this will be your anchor when things get tough, because trust me, everything ain't sunshine and rainbows off-grid. 2, choose the right location. Location is key. My family and I chose returning to Jamaica because I love tropical weather. If you're not a person who likes the tropics then and you want to stay within the United States, you still have to do your research. There are many off-grid friendly states like Idaho, Colorado, or in the Midwest. I'm sorry, in the Southwest, right? But also be aware of what the zoning laws are. Do you have access to water? Other than location, water, hunty, another very important one. And things that you don't consider is how far am I away from the nearest town in case you have an emergency or you run out of supplies or you have some kind of disaster that happens on land, like our farm being destroyed. Luckily, we could go to the farmer's market. Another thing is you want access to community as well. So those things should be a part of your location when you start thinking about where you choose to move off. Step 3, set a realistic budget. An off-grid has upfront costs, but it can be budget friendly if you calculate the cost of your land, the permits you'll need if you need them, what it costs to put in an infrastructure, like to build a home. Will it be made out of wood from the land, or will you use a trailer? Think about putting in water. What will the cost be for that? Research and find out. Digging a well, using a stream, running a ram pump. There you have many options. You can do water tanks where you save your water that way too. The whole point is, right, is self-sufficiency, so you will not be attached to the utilities, the public utilities. What type of lifestyle are you hoping to gain here? Are you trying to go caveman, abunga wunga style? Or do you want energy? Do you want solar panels so that you can have Starlink or a refrigerator? You know, not many people do bushcraft like us where we dig holes into the forest ground and we use that to cool our foods, or we we'll salt our meat so that we can dehydrate them and have them for the upcoming months. So it depends on what type of lifestyle you plan on living. To note would be the cost and like where you're gonna live, the cost of like building a home. So I used the cedar trees and the maho trees to build a cabin that we had, but I didn't know anything about wood curing and that it would take 3 to 4 months for wood to cure. So we lived in a tent until that was sorted out. So I would suggest definitely considering a prefab home or a trailer or some alternate form in case you are not able to afford a house right away. And of course, if you cut trees down, please replant. You must put back some for future generations, because you didn't plant that tree or that fruit that you're eating from. It's very important that you give back to nature, but be also very mindful of that. You can also buy wood. It's very expensive, but that's an option as well.
Water is life, especially off-grid.
Secure a water source. You're looking at properties, try to secure one that has a water source there. That would be the first thing I would look for. Property with water. If you can't find that, then consider the different catchments that are available to you. And most importantly, work on a very good filtration system, even if it's rainwater. So I kept on saying filtration, but I mean purification. Having a river and a spring helped, and we also sometimes purify the spring water depending on what we're doing. And like if it's been raining, we'll do that, right? If stuff falls into the water. But if you have a river, you can definitely purify that and use that water. But yeah, purification. Step 5, get your energy set up. And solar is the most popular that we know of, but there is micro hydro, and you can also use wind as an option. To be honest, we didn't have any of that. I just had like a Jackery generator. So we were really off grid. Like we just drank coconut waters. They were always very cold. And we ate the fruits. So I didn't need a refrigerator, or I didn't miss one, not for the last 4 years. Off-grid looks different for everyone. So if you are one of the people who need solar, there are solar kits that you can like look into, and I suggest that be the first way. 6, build your shelter. Now this step can be a lot of fun. Most of that breath of hesitation, because although extremely rewarding to build your own shelter, it is extremely time consuming and requires skills. And if you don't have them, you feel very frustrated. And if you are in a place like I was in Jamaica, you have to find a reliable team. So if you don't know how to build your land, another thing to keep in mind is to have a team and the budget in place for that team. This is where the prefab becomes like your best friend. But depending on where you are too, don't forget insulation. I love a good trailer or a good those container homes. So consider things that require very little effort and it's one time and done if you're not into building your own.
If self-sufficiency is the goal, let's talk food.
This is my favorite step. Step 7, grow your own food. Start with easy to grow vegetables and fruits that suit the climate that you're in. And from my mistake, I would also suggest doing some in a greenhouse if you don't have a farm, but definitely get a greenhouse as a not be intimidated. You don't have to be a great farmer. You can start in containers or vertical. Then you move into raised garden beds and just take your time, then a greenhouse, but I definitely suggest a greenhouse. Step 8, learn practical skills. Self-sufficiently off-grid requires some set of basic skills. Brush up on some carpentry. It wouldn't basic. You don't need to be HGTV, but definitely learn some first aid as well. And I would also brush up on some gardening tips and tools and skills that you can use on your own home. There's so many resources available, so many books, blogs, YouTubes. I watched YouTube for about 3 years before moving off grid and tiny home and how to achieve the goal that I was like aspiring. Keep in mind, this isn't about perfection, it's about resourcefulness. Step 9, build a support network. Even off grid, community matters. Find other people who share your values. Not only values, but also skills. Connect online to off-grid forums and go to your local farmers market and start talking to the farmers and build community. So many homesteading and off-grid meetup groups. No one does this alone. Step 10, adjust your mindset. You're there, but this might be the most important step, is to adjust your mindset to a slower pace, to a slower way of living, and to the stillness that
things inevitably will go wrong.
It can be demanding and humbling. Many a days you'll wonder why you chose this path. Stay grounded and take this one step at a time, one day at a time sometimes it's 1 hour at a time. You can do it. The goal here isn't to go off-grid completely overnight. It takes steps, and have grace with yourself and be real. It's a journey, and each step gets you closer to the freedom and peace of mind that you seek. Speaking of what you seek, please like and share and comment if you have any questions. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm really trying to grow it. I want to help, especially single mothers or people who are stuck in the matrix and want a way out. And I want to show you that if I, with 2 young children under 10 years old, could do it and is thriving, then so can you. Be well, walk good every time. Bless up yourself.